And let's see if we back, baby. Are we back? Let me know what we going through. Cause it's been a long day to try to figure this out right now. So let me know if we got it going. Who has joined the channel again? Let me know if we looking good. We looking better this time. So it appears to be moving back in the right direction. I thought I lost everybody who came around to hang out, Kenny. So we gonna get it going. Mighty ironic how it goes, but that's how it goes. Let's move it along. Let's give people a couple minutes to get back in, and hopefully we can go ahead and win, Ken. Get us a dub like the Cubs need. Because I all but botched everything that I thought I had going on for the day. In terms of getting off to a... I had a little bit of juice though. I had a little bit of moxie. Hey. If you hang around the right people in the streaming community, certain mountains are less arduous to climb, Ken. It's like it's having a good team. If we got a good team, then I think it gives us the opportunity to go ahead and put things all the way together. So now we just look to see that we can get everybody back into the room. We had some willing eyeballs around. Let's hope we can get them back. So, one, let's make sure the pooch is settled over here, because he wasn't a moment ago. So give me a minute. Just let me see. Oh yeah, he's sitting right here. He actually right in the room with me. And then what I want everybody to see, just to give out a little bit of a omen, Ken. I know everybody been kind of in their bag about, what do you call it, draft chatter. I got something else for you. When we talk about draft chatter, we're gonna talk about me being an antagonist. And this is how I'm going to antagonize right now. And we're gonna do this just to buzz you up. Let's see if y'all ready for the little omen right there. Cause it might prove fruitful later on. Finally got it together, you know? Nonetheless, let's get into what we're going to talk about. Chelsea, Ken, and all of my friends. Because today, we are going to talk about Chicago Bear top, or all-time, I should say, bust and draft gems, if you will, of the past 20 years. Every pick is going to get a breakdown. If we will call it a postal review. Then we're going to decide. You know, like we got some members in the building. We got some good super subscribers with tech support under their belt. And also, when we do have good content, you can get some VIP access to vote and influence these types of lists, these types of content pieces or what have you. So if you like to, anybody who is not, go ahead and become a member of the Postal Gang officially, if you will. That gives you a couple different things to take under your belt. G Honda, appreciate you popping back up. Hope everything is where we need it to be at this point, because we ain't started out too good, G Honda. Nonetheless, as we get into the bust and what I classify as draft gems, those people that we stole, unearthed, found in rounds later than one. No, we going postal, Tom. As long as we don't flip out and do things people don't think we're supposed to, we should be good. We should be real good out here. I'm hopeful that we can get the ball rolling and not be holding to the bum stuff. And let me tell you, let me get a quick aside while we in here. So, G Honda, as I indicated in one of my previous episodes, I am a member of Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated, and I will give you two members of my organization. One being, I believe, still the all-time Russian leader, Emmett Smith. The other being one mailman, Karl Malone. I don't like either one of them. So to be compared or talked about in the same vein as Karl Malone is almost as insulting as calling you a true sports fan. We just don't do it. So the mailman and all the other BS, not really with. Ganja, what's going on with you, baby? We are talking all-time bust in the last 20 years for the Bears and all-time draft steals, if we will. Now, my question would be, do we want to go over the draft successes first? Or do we want to go over those people that we think were misdelivered? While we deciding that, hit that like button for me, everybody. If the flag's up on the mailbox, hit that like button. I got a list of them, Ganja. We're going to go through the list. I wouldn't care about him being anything, sir. He's not a person I want to be compared to or anything else. But definitely, we will get to our list. I have a list of people together. Ganja, I have a list of people that I have comprised. We will go through the list, and if those people are not upon the list, then we will go through people who are not on the list. We don't want to get the ball rolling too fast out here with Mr. Gabe Karimi and the Kevin Whites of the world. You absolutely know we will get to talk about both of them. There's no way we can get around them. But I do want to see, since Ganja put it there, let's see if we can continue while we're here, since we obviously want to talk about the bus first. Let's go ahead. If you can think of more of the names, type those into the chat. If those names are a part of the list, we obviously will go through the list. If they are not, then we will talk about all of the people that we missed and possibly come up with some of the most memorable blunders that they contributed to, or any other lasting thoughts you might have about those people, because we are around draft time, and I know a lot of people are nervous about who we might draft and who we shouldn't draft. I know some people want certain cornerbacks, but for me, if you get that Toledo guy, I won't be mad. And, that's how it's going to be. And Chelsea said, before I forget, shout out to Postman for giving feedback in her last live. Man, Ben is a savant. If we get another person from Toledo, I won't be mad. I'm just going to say that right there. I don't want a safety first, but if we get a person from Toledo, I won't be mad, because tell me the last Toledo draftee that was bad. I'll wait. Wasn't Kareem Hunt. Wasn't Quiniel or Quinyon Mitchell. It wasn't my man's. We're trying to figure it out. The bad Toledo guys, because everybody don't like small schools, but they ain't been slouching out here. But Jordan Howard, let me know. So, okay, so Ganja giving me info on both sides. But what I think we might as well just get right into it, since we did have a little Holy Toledo, Tom. That's right. Tom, I'm a Toledo dad. Tom, my couple dollars went to Toledo at some point in our lives. Luckily, that came to an end in 2017. Yeah, 2017. That's when we said goodbye to tuition. But we're gonna start, and the list. Let me just start by saying this: the list is in no order. If there's someone on the list that you disagree with and you think they shouldn't be there, by all means, drop your comments in the chat, as we will take time to go over those persons. And if it's somebody that we think we have missed on the draft steals, let me know. With that being said, our bus segment. Number one on the list. Don't know if he's number one overall, but let me know how you feel. 1, Mitchell Trubisky. Bears traded up to number 2 from the 3 spot, I believe. Traded up 1 spot. Gave up numerous draft picks. Ryan Pace, because he reminded him of him. But he never reached any of the heights that he should have. He did have a pseudo Pro Bowl year. But to think that we passed up on Patrick Mahomes for 1 Mitchell Trubisky has to be the biggest misdelivery, in my estimation. Going rogue with the pick, not letting your coach know about it so that anybody who had any disagreements could go about changing your mind. And Tom said it best: Ryan Pace the snake. That was serpent level behavior to go about allowing your team not to have a collective effort. And when you think about it, the way in which Ben and Ryan Poles are working together is the healthy mix that you always want to have with a coach and a GM. We just haven't had the privilege of having both of those things go together very many times, so that we can have a true semblance of simpatico, if you will. But with that being said, he did have some flashes. Granted, I won't give him all bad. And he's still playing in the league, but he never became that guy. And when you are drafted number 2 overall, I mean, like, at worst, even if we say he's not totally a bad package, he got to be misdelivered, right? And Chelsea, drop your link all the time, Chelsea. But it is, her handle is Ken, but I want her to drop the link so she can go ahead and make sure that people come in. Chelsea does reaction to the daily topics that go on in sports. She covers the gamut across. My apologies. She does live game reaction to things when they're going on in terms of a collegiate sport. And her hat, the cowboy hat or the cowgirl hat you see that adorns her, has become its own entity. And let me tell you, Ganja, so I do have new member emotes. I suck at putting those together. I don't know how they look, so I might have to outsource those to get them to look the way I want them to be as clear as possible, because I want people to see exactly what they say. But you do see that if you are a member, we have not only a wrench for your name, but we have a founder's badge that is next to your name there. You do, as a member, have the leeway to steer the direction that we might go in when we talk about any given subject, whether it be during draft season, regular season, so on and so forth. Your considerations will be heard, for lack of a better term, and we will be able to incorporate those things into streaming content, whether it be in video form or whether it be in another. Dracula, I don't believe you were available last time when I did give an appreciation to you, good sir, for your contribution to my stream. All your donations are not unnoticed in any way, shape, or form, and I do appreciate it. If you would like to go back to the last stream, towards the end, we did go ahead and drop a special thank you link, which we will do at the end of this stream for all of my contributors from the last one. So I appreciate everybody that contributes to the stream in every way, shape, or form. Make sure we're hitting the like button as we come in. Hit that subscribe button if you have not. Stu, how you feeling, baby? We are talking draft bust right now, Stu. We just went past Mitchell Trubisky. Pooh, man, how you feeling today? And now, as we talk about it, I appreciate you, man, like so much. Seriously. Pooh, man, appreciate you pulling up. Howdy. And what we are talking about right now are all-time draft bust and draft gems. DeVille, welcome back. Thank you, good sir. Our number one, and not number one in terms of overall, but if he is, that's fine. But the first draft bust that we got over the 20 years was Mitch Trubisky. Jerry, how we feeling? Thanks, bot. That's right. The bot is gonna let you know when you're coming back. I appreciate you. Shout out to Chelsea for being my tech support midstream to get us going all over again. We had some technical difficulties, but we did get it back together. Hey, he say, Kevin White, good guy, barely knew him. Pooh, man, what we are doing, because as you know, I am bear-centric. We are only talking about Chicago Bears draft bust. Those are the people that hurt my franchise, hurt my feelings, and contributed to all the grays you see in my beard. These guys, to name a few, gave me this beard. Speaking of what we gave, if anybody sees in the link right there, I should say in the chat, we got a Discord link right there. Please go ahead and hit that Discord link. You are at that point allowed to be a part of the daily conversation that goes on in the mail room in the post office. We have some daily discourse. If you got things about any subjects that you might want to post links to, things like that we want to talk about in the daily sporting world, gives us an opportunity to connect. Also gives us an opportunity to have those VIP rooms for our members, for our super chatters, so on and so forth, so that we can get more content out daily. That's a good one right there, Chris Williams, Stu. Like that one. If we do have anybody, a Bacchiotomy. He said a dude had a Bacchiotomy. Kevin White, elite talent from West Virginia. From day one, injury kept him off the field. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that Kevin White played about 3 games for the Bears, if that. I think that in itself would render a guy like, I mean, where I call it from, that's a package that never made it out of the warehouse, if you want to use a postal pun. To never have given us a full season. They lost the box. It was damaged. It never made it anywhere it needed to go. And at that point, Kevin White, those bad shins, I thought you were going to be a monster of a talent. And I can't even remember the other receivers that were drafted in your year. But I know that he was one of those ones that we drafted, had high hopes for, and things did not go well. Yes, the Hail Mary, Stu. You got one for me right there. Shea McClellan, good listing for us right there. And some of these names that you mentioned, they might not be on the list, but if they not, we're going to talk about them just the same. Amari Cooper was in his draft class. Okay, there you go. That hurt my feelings a little bit. But you know, Chelsea know what it feels like to get him, even though the Raiders had him first. Controversial guy on my list, because as much as I like the person, Pooh Man, you spoke it up. Justin Fields, Chris Williams, Michael Haynes, Leonard Floyd. Hey, look, I can't wait to see if any of these names are not on our list right here. Because Justin Fields, as Pooh Man listed, is on our list. Elite runner, wholly inconsistent pastor. He needed a pastor. He needed to pray for some direction out down on the field. But he was gone in 3 years. We traded him. Never gave him that fifth-year option. As most quarterbacks never get that second deal with us. And I won't be mad at what it precipitated. One, if we didn't have Justin on the roster at the time when we did, Ryan Poles wouldn't have felt compelled to trade the pick away to, in fact, get DJ and all of the haul that he received at that point. But at the same time, for what Justin was intended to be, never quite made that transition in any stop he's made right now. And we hope that he is going to have a renaissance of sorts to learn how to play the game when it comes to the quarterback position in Kansas City. As he did just get a 1-year deal, I believe, to stay with Kansas City. Or he got traded. So he still has 2 years from his New York Jets deal. But if you had to say anything about Justin, we're going to stick with the postal puns. Justin is the epitome of a return to sender. And he is a return to sender because if I do believe Stu said, and let's go to it real fast. Ego Ferguson, we got to talk about it. We will talk about it. I want to see, because somebody made a good point over here when they talked about Justin Fields. And so it was Stu, I believe or Pooh Man. So Pooh Man has made constant reference to the coaching and the infrastructure around Justin. And they say Justin needed to sit behind a decent starting quarterback. Justin may have very well needed to do so, but since we would say something like that, Pooh Man, that would lead me to believe that Justin in postal puns is insufficient postage due, if you will. David Terrell has not been mentioned, but you can add him to your list. Because I'm being honest, besides Ego Ferguson right now, y'all pretty much y'all regurgitating history and my list verbatim out in these streets. But another person that I think is a bust, and his career wasn't a bust as far as overall, but I think it was a bust for us, Cedric Benson. Cedric Benson was a top 5 pick. I think a lot of running backs bit the Bears. And Cedric, while in Cincinnati, had a wonderful career, and in some ways in Green Bay, I don't think that he ever lived to the heights that he should have reached in Chicago, especially when we had Thomas Jones. I don't think we needed to draft Cedric Benson at that time. We could have done so much more with that pick, even traded out and gained more capital, or drafted a game wrecker. I think that Cedric Benson was a worse pick because of what we already had in tow. We had Thomas Jones, and he was doing a damn good job. Like you said, Ken, R.I.P. to say it, because I don't want to besmirch the man posthumously, but in terms of what we expected out of him for us, he was lost in transit, and nobody ever went looking. Y'all dropping the names in this. Y'all dropping names out here, I'm telling you. Goddamn, Shea McClellan is on our list. Positionless, a tweener. Never found a role. Small school from Boise State, I believe. And the Oh, did Tom give me caps? Yeah, he wasn't. Yeah, so this is my workaround, everybody. When you want to use all caps, take one of your words and make it small. Botrix is a temperamental beast, and I don't want Botrix to do anything dirty to us out here. Broski Bear, Kevin White was definitely on the list. When we talked about all-time bust, we also had Cedric Benson, Justin Fields, and Mitchell Trubisky to go along with him. And now we are on... Oh, no. Hey, there we go, Tommy. That's how we do it. Hey, our world is built on workarounds and loopholes, unfortunately and fortunately. And I'm glad we are able to find some of those workarounds, because sometimes you gotta get your thoughts out in all caps. And that's how I gotta go, broski. Shay was that guy. Man, let me tell y'all, broski, don't come in here, even though this is the last 20 years, but Rashawn Salam is a guy. I went to the Tampa Bay game when he ran 60 yards down the field and fumbled the damn ball. It's one of my few Soldier Field memories as a kid. It was always doom and gloom. And to have that guy who had somewhat of a good type of situation, that just wasn't, man. Salami lam. So I would say for Shea McClellan, we had the wrong route. And really, he should never been on the delivery, man. There was no way we should have drafted that small school guy in the first round. But a guy like, what do you call it? What's his name? A guy just like Ryan Pace. Again, Pace is out there pacing, doing all type of crazy stuff. And it just wasn't making sense, man. And it really cost us a lot. Because if you think about it, those types of picks, the Adam Shaheens, the Shea McClellans, the Mitchell Trubiskys, he played us, bro. The Leonard Floyds of the world. Michael Haynes and Mark Colombo. Gabe Karimi is on our list. We know Gabe out of Wisconsin, offensive tackle. I believe you guys already mentioned Gabe. Injuries ended it before it started with Gabe. Gabe was damaged goods from day one. Gabe was supposed to be like legendary for us. I believe we drafted him in the teens, if I'm not mistaken, him and Chris Williams. Colombo did have a resurgence of sorts, but that resurgence, just like most of them, never panned out for us. Because there's a couple other guys on the list that had pretty good careers elsewhere, but for us, you didn't do absolutely diddly squat, and that's what got us. And we come back to somebody that we thought was going to be a hit. David Terrell. Chelsea, when you are what I call a beleaguered Bears fan for so many years, you don't got to go back and figure these out. And we're not even talking about people outside of the first. We ain't talking about the Jerron Gilberts and all other type of people like that. We ain't talking about the Garrett Wolfs or what have you. We just talking about early round picks and everything like that, Chelsea. Like, there are so many players that I don't think people wholly remember. And we're going to talk about another one that is a second round pick, like Ego Ferguson was. Like, Chelsea has so many of them. We have done so poorly at early round draft picks. It's ridiculous as how we actually find ways to survive, because we have done some of the worst things when we come to drafting. We drafted David Terrell out of Michigan, supposed to be one of those ones. David Terrell couldn't learn the damn playbook. Continuous frustration. Never learned the goddamn playbook. Like, are you serious? You are worse than Ocho Cinco with running routes. Route technicians, one thing. Never learning a playbook because you think you are superior in athleticism is unacceptable. And I think that those types of things, like, really, oh my God, they keep you up at night. And G Honda, We don't care about botch free agent signings, so that's not the point of our stream. Mike Glennon was drafted by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So yes, we did pick up somebody's trash and give him $18 million. We are not talking about Broski say the Bears drafted a DN named Pat Riley in the second round. Same year they drafted the boy known as, oh my God, that had to be horrible. Chris Williams is a bust, and he will be on our list, Ganja. Hey, look. I got to go ahead and get this one out here real fast because Tom just said something that's funny to me. Tom said, Patrick Williams is garbage. I know it's not football, but I had to mention it. You damn right. Bum. This is absolutely ridiculous. But yes, again, we find ways to do all of the wrong things when it comes to drafting talent out here. But have no fear. Payson Johnson here, baby. Payson Johnson, I mean, bottom line for real, when you think about a guy like David Terrell, undeliverable. Because he refused to read the addresses like, okay, I deliver mail. You read the address twice before you deliver. David didn't want to read it once. At that point, you couldn't. Hot take. I don't think Justin Fields was bad. I just don't think the Bears should have drafted him. I'll have to disagree there, Chelsea, only on the premise that most quarterbacks get drafted by bad teams. And unless Justin is able to show us in this iteration of having a real coach that has stability, it was an article that I read, or at least IG, Instagram, for an interview. And they asked about Justin Fields and when did they know. Yeah, I read the rest of what you said. Fields has suffered being on ill-equipped teams. The ill-equipped teams, I don't think has anything to do with his ability to process. I don't disagree with you because I don't want to put him there. Wonderful arm. But when we talk about processing, this is what I mean by that, Chelsea. There was a Tampa. Again, we had orange uniforms on. I forget who we were playing against, but we were in the red zone. You got two receivers. One breaking on the end route, that's a slant, streaking to the end zone. One of them doing straight 9 route, going straight down the field uncovered. Justin saw neither one of those guys, took off running for a 1-yard gain. While I understand that the Bears contributed heavily to him, being skittish, not processing things well, and not learning, the exercise in itself right now would have to be to classify where he is as opposed to what he could be. And I don't disagree with you in any way. I think he could have been real good. And I do think that he could have been better with a better staff. Totally. We don't disagree at all, I don't think, when we talk about the outcome that could have been for Justin. But when we talk about what did happen, he failed wholly. You know, he had a rushing record, but as far as the criterion goes for the quarterback position, no matter what the circumstance, like Sam Darnold was a prime example of somebody who was at some point called a bust and he was failed. If you are not the bust, Baker Mayfield, then you go out and you have a renaissance of sorts with somebody that can put you together. At the same time, if you don't do that, then I'm not going to be able to give you that leeway. And I really want Justin still to be good because I don't want to put Justin on my list. Nonetheless, salute to him in Kansas City, and I hope he get better out here. Michael Haynes, Penn State defensive end, college star, NFL ghost. Ganja, I think Ganja Bear said it best right there. He wasn't good, and that may have been because we failed him, but two things can be true, and they both happen to put him on our list as far as not meeting draft expectations, especially when you're drafted 11th overall. It was. But to be fair, and to counter argument to your point, Chelsea. What is the name? Oh, I'm sorry. Caleb Williams had the same incompetent coach overlap and the same horrible line overlap that Justin did. And he didn't look as horrible as Justin did. Like, you can not look good, but like, I think he regressed every year, and everybody else had some of his same setbacks as far as the Bears go. Very few times do we have a good offensive line, offensive play callers, or play makers. But I think that collegiate coaches don't develop you for the pros. They develop you for their team. And things, sometimes go wrong. So, as we talk about a guy like Michael Haynes was much like Justin Fields. He was outstanding in college. When it came to the pros, nothing. So he got like a 1-star review, if you ask me. I think if Justin Fields started year one with Ben Johnson, he may be better, but you won't be Caleb. But his processing won't ever be up to speed. And I have to be honest, he is still a bust according to the list. It's a whole bunch of people who could have been something. Chelsea, I could have been a sports broadcaster if I'd went to school and got a broadcast journalism degree. Stu, appreciate you for hanging out with us, man. Everybody who is here, make sure you're hitting that like button for us. Hit that subscribe button, share the content, if you will. I think he will get an opportunity, Broski Bear, and I think he's gonna be competent. I want to see it. But for the purpose of this exercise, he didn't quite live up to expectation for us. And so Michael Haynes was our 1-star review. Great in college, nothing in the pros. Man, don't you do Justin like that. Not Broski. Don't you do him like that, man. I like this young man. He's a good young man. He's a fine man, Savannah. Yeah. No, he is a complete bust, Chelsea, because and if he wasn't a complete bust, then he would still be in Pittsburgh. Sam Darnold can say that he's not a bust because he's turned the nose up on the plane. But until you actually do that, Justin had a couple good games with us. But yes, I do believe wholeheartedly different circumstances could have produced a better Justin Fields. Even though that will never be the case. Only because, like they just said, coaches are so into it for themselves that they only care about their own development as the program goes. So he wasn't developed very much in college. And when he got to the pros, he had even less talent around him. And so less talent and less ability in the interim could make us be very bad in on the whole. And Chelsea, I think we need to have a I think we need to have a discussion about it sometimes. Maybe we can have a collab about all types of busts like that. But the monsoon game, Justin gave me some highlights. There was a very small start to me. Chelsea, I don't care about records. Records mean nothing to me. The whole team get a record. But I get you. We don't disagree. But we talking about out here. Chelsea. I understand that you like them. I like them too. But the tape don't lie. He'll back up again. If it was not to be, then I'll see him as a starter one day. Man, that slip and slide was goated, broski. That was goated. No, Chelsea is always going to find the best in every player, Ganja. She won't ever get the worst out of them. But Mark Colombo, I think was it you, Ganja, that mentioned Mark Colombo? Because that particular person. Okay, Ken, you asked about him. You said that he have a good career with the Cowboys, I believe, and he did have a second stint with the Cowboys. Tore his knee up here, never got the opportunity to look. While we talking about subscribe, G Honda, put your link in the chat, man. Why people ridicule you too much not to be subscribed to your channel, G Honda? G Honda do a lot of reaction. He do dash cam reaction tapes and everything like that. So I want y'all, if you're into that type of stuff right there, and if you're not, G Honda still always want to hit the milestones that we need to hit over there on YouTube. So put your link in the chat for me, G Honda, so that we can hit that subscribe button to the Stillmatic Network. I ridicule and play with G a lot, but that is one of my main man on this platform. Been rocking with me since I started putting content out, and despite all of the ribbing, and despite him being a bust in terms of that Steelers content. That's right, Ken. Exactly, Ken. Yeah, that's how I know he a tyrannical giraffe. I know the man. I know the man known as G, Janarius Jennifer Hudson, with a G. Jurassic Reactions is what he does. I'm just letting y'all know. Feel that out right there. We forwarded Mark Colombo, is what I would say, because while he didn't have a good career with us, he did deliver for somebody else. So the guy who hurt my feelings the most, and I think Stu said he needed a bacchiotomy. Number 10 on my list, Chris Williams. Chris Williams was a top 15 pick. He was in all ways supposed to be a... Give me a minute, guys. My apologies. Dinner is the hardest thing to ever figure out. No clue why it is, but it's the hardest. Broski, you don't hear me, broski? You don't hear me? I'm pretty sure it's some audio there, broski. I was on the phone with my wife. Y'all can't be hearing the conversation, man. You can't be hearing what I was talking about. That couldn't happen, broski. Gyros today, Ken. We're eating gyros. Eating some gyros. Yeah, the wife called me. You gotta go ahead right then and figure it out. Chris Williams was supposed to be our O-line issue or fix, I think. A chicken and broccoli calzone sandwich, toasted bread, and everything. Toasted bread for a sandwich. What kind of meat do you put in your sandwich? And I'll get back to my list over here. Because bottom line, when you think about a guy like Chris Williams, them back problems, he never delivered what we paid for him. Never delivered. Ken, I don't think I've ever fasted before, Ken. Am I weak? I think I'll do that one day. Another guy on our list that we talk about before we get into our good guys on the list. Man, I'm not. Hey, what am I pausing about? I don't want to pause. Okay, I don't want to ask because you might tell me. A 48-hour fast is wild. Peace and blessings to you, brother. Anthony Miller, no peace and blessings to you. Okay, I like pastrami. I'm a spicy chicken, if we can, you know, a little spiced chicken type. But Anthony Miller, let's talk about Anthony Miller. Backfield, Braxton Jones. Well, broski, even though we off task again, Jedrick Wills will be your starting left tackle. Even if Braxton starts the season as your starting left tackle, it will be Jedrick Wills, and Braxton will be the backup that we don't have, because in fact you do have two players that are left tackles right now. So that's why I don't believe left tackle is a need at all, let alone our biggest need. But the Bears can prove me wrong. The Bears can go out there and draft a left tackle from Utah or from Arizona State or, you know, Alabama, whomever might be available. But I'm pretty certain that you won't be drafting a left tackle in your first round. And it can be as hilarious as we want it to be, broski. It's real life, you know it. They didn't sign the man to laugh at him. I assure you that. They didn't go out and sign him for hee-hee-ha-has. You disagree with that? Do you disagree with the notion that he's on the roster for a reason? Now, I will admit, injury does give you an unknown. But this year, for Braxton and Jedrick, both will be practicing as opposed to doing training camp. So I do believe that will have a slight, if not more than slight difference. I don't draft a left tackle at all myself. Me personally, if I drafted a left tackle, it's a project that I can think of as a swing tackle or something in the future. I don't personally think we need one. The coaching staff, the general manager, or nobody else has given me any indication that Ozzie won't be back. I'm not here to try to debate his prognosis. I'm only mentioning that no doctor or anyone else has given us anything to believe otherwise. Secondly, I'm gonna have to believe that everybody, especially a guy like Wills who wants another contract with somebody after this season, has to be healthy, or you have no more shots in the league. I personally don't think that left tackle is a pressing issue, but it could be. And let's just hope, if it is a priority, Broski Bear, that it does not end up like a Chris Williams, because we just mentioned several left tackles that we've tried. But, you know, we're going to find out about it out here. Anthony Miller was one of those guys. The ongoing and ever-changing thing that we know is medicine, ganja, is the reason why I don't play doctor even on stream. And I understand what the prognosis would have been in the past, but I also know that yesterday's medicine is not today's medicine. So far be it from me to try to tell a person what they won't come back from, especially when, like I said, and the draft will show us how incorrect I am if we go ahead and make an early move for a left tackle. That will do exactly with what Broski is saying. If Broski's sentiment about the left tackle is to be taken strongly into consideration as far as the Bears go, what I say won't matter whatsoever, and they will absolutely go ahead and get that done. That's right, Lonzo Ball. He's talking about the degenerative knee situations and so on and so forth, and those types of things do matter when we talk about medicine and how those things come about. Not to mention the individual. Your individual body chemistry is always going to play a role in the things, but we will find out exactly if those guys are, in fact, marvels of medicine, or if the Bears don't see, or if the Bears see things the same way as some of the chat does, and they err on the side of caution and draft a brand new one. Nonetheless, don't draft Anthony Miller, a package who he had a promising first year, but never quite the levels of success after that. So he never arrived at his destination. And speaking of never arriving at the destination, I think the stamp was lost on the envelope before we got him. I am shocked to see, wholly shocked to see that nobody has talked about Velus Jones Jr. being a bust for the Chicago Bears. He did have Brandon Roy issues, but as we can see, back in the day for Brandon Roy, he wasn't able to recover. And now modern medicine has put him together. The Bears are drafting a left tackle or a cornerback in the first round. I need Broski to make my thumbnails, because those are the controversial type of titles that get you a click, even when you don't believe it yourself. But when you type it up, make you feel good inside. Velus Jones Jr. never mailed out. A third rounder. Velus was a third rounder. I wish he was a fourth rounder. It would make me feel better. Third round pick, kicking punts all over the field, but he got a Super Bowl ring this year. And speaking of kicking punts all over the field, this receiver didn't kick punts anywhere, but he played a total of 2 games for the Chicago Bears before he bounced around the league with 4 other teams being cut the very next year. Does anybody remember Joaquin Iglesias, the wide receiver from Oklahoma? Second round pick, did about 3 punt returns, I believe, and ran a couple of routes. And Tom Waddle famously said after those 3 routes, he can't play. And Tom wasn't wrong. To think that that was actually the thing that was brought about blows my mind. But Cash, quiet. You see what happens when Joaquin Iglesias pissed him off. Ken say he thinks safety or left tackle, and Ken, you say safety. That's why I put this on. That's why I put this on, Ken, because I wanted y'all to go ahead and look at it that way, and then I want y'all to ask yourself, how many first round safeties are starting in the NFL? Because we keep speaking about this safety and all these other positions, like the best of them are not found in the second rounds and so on and so forth. And we got plenty of them out here. See my short on Zakee Wheatley. We ready. I think the Bears have a very sound board. And like, yeah, I don't, hey, okay. I'm leaning towards EMW if I got to get a safety. If I have to get a safety, I'm leaning towards that guy. Anybody who describes EMW as Peanut Tillman at the safety position, I want Peanut Tillman over Harrison Smith any day. I want the tenacity, the aggression. I'm not hoping for the best with EMW. Oregon is the school that produces the least amount of pro-ready players. Oregon have the guys who look good there and don't look good in the pros. We can't use Bo Nix. Oregon have the guys who flame out more so than Toledo. Toledo get McNeil Warren, from the safety from Toledo. Emmanuel. I'm with it. Now, truth be told, I don't want either one of them. No, they liken Tyneman to Harrison Smith. Broski Bear, stop it. They call Tyneman the new age Harrison Smith. And see, I don't mind him being a box safety only because your other safety is versatile already. You see? So, like, that shows me that versatility that they always preach about when they sign people is another thing that's getting us where we want to be, per se. It's how I would look at it in that one. But today in itself, I won't spend a whole bunch of time being wrapped into the who we could have now. At the conclusion of today, I will be uploading my latest draft, or mock draft, I should say. As we'll do a premiere of that one probably tomorrow night. We'll do a premiere just to see how that draft went. I do like to have some drafts where I select people without the accompaniment of the chat, and then we can go about seeing that for the first time as a premiere video and see if you like the picks. I think we got about 2 more, including Sunday. Sunday will possibly be our last mock draft stream. I do believe it will be. After that point, we will do a lot of preparatory things to get ready for next Thursday, which 1 week from today, around 20 minutes from now, I would even say, maybe 10, your boy will be going live from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, site of the 2026 NFL Draft. We will get some interview questions for all fans, spread to all fields. We will see if the Bears actually do what many believe and trade back that night, or what others believe and move forward. If they do either one, I'll be there for both. If they stand put and make the pick, I don't think that you want to miss my stream that day, because we will be covering it until the wheels fall off. So join me, especially on Thursday, April 23rd, as we host and stream live from Pittsburgh. Getting back to it. Hit the like button as we get through the rest of these particular busts, and we move fairly quickly into what I would classify as draft steals. Riley Ridley, 4th round pick, no production found whatsoever. Was supposed to be Calvin's brother, but I don't know if you got Calvin's genes in you, boy. You worse than Equinemius St. Brown in comparison to Amon Ra. Like, yeah, you had the good college career, but I don't think you really did nothing to hold up the Ridley name. And your address is totally incomplete, bro. Don't like you whatsoever out there. And what I really want to know is, say, Max got the measurables. Which one of those draft picks that we talked about right now, which one hurt the most? Drop it below, everybody. If we get any of those comments or anything listed in super chat formation, obviously that gets priority in terms of who we read live, but we will attempt to engage and read a lot of things that make sense over here for us. When we talk about gems, because we are now leaving the bust, we got some guys that I believe, and I do believe that we'll get some more of those guys, and we'll talk about one even from last year who represent what I call a draft steal, a gem, if you will. And so maybe we didn't get him in the first round, but every round after that provides value just like the first round does. And in this particular instance, we were able to not only come away with a good player, but I think come away with some pretty iconic names at times. First one for me, Louisiana Tech, I believe, is the place he played. Max, let me see Max's name. I think it's Iachinoa, I believe, but I don't know. Omar Cooper, sound like a wide receiver. The Bears ain't drafting no wide receivers in no first round. I'm serious, boy. I think my stream would end right there if I saw us draft a wide receiver with the first pick. But to get sidetracked, I won't. Peanut, the Peanut Punch. The impetus for all takeaways on offense is due to Charles Peanut Tillman, and I think that in all way, shape, or form, they got to be certified male right there. Peanut delivered every single time we wanted him to. There was not a moment where Peanut didn't give us exactly what we needed. And yeah, I'm serious, Ganja. I ain't playing. Kid say I'm gonna need a wide receiver. Kid, we gonna keep. We already worked that out too. You got a good idea for how it's gonna go. Me and Ken got a bet out here. If you don't know, we got a bet on wide receivers being drafted. I think Ken has the first 3 rounds, and I got 4 through 7. 4 through 7, and all I need is in the 5th round, at best. Or yeah, I think in the 5th round, because I believe that, and check my short out for the day, Dejon Striblin, the wide receiver from Ole Miss, 6'3", I believe, runs a 4.3 40. I believe he'll be there in the 4th round, maybe the 5th. I believe my boys go get another one. I believe they go get another one. And let me tell you something. Ken, you probably could have. Let's make no mistake about it. You probably could have. You probably would have got the 4th out of me, because I was feeling myself that day especially. I had no inclination that they had even the interest in wide receivers. So you probably could have got me straight at that 4th. But nonetheless, it didn't go that way. So I got no issue with drafting one. Just don't draft 1, 2, or 3 in terms of round. Moving on. the greatest punt returner ever, who was drafted positionless, no less. Could he be a receiver? Could he be this? Could he be that? No, he could be the guy who you do not want the ball to be in his hands, and he scored a touchdown on the opening kickoff of the Super Bowl. Devin Hester, you are ridiculous, and you are express mail. The fastest delivery in Bears history. To think that the second round guy who played cornerback in college, who was touted to be a wide receiver, but ultimately, while only really a return man, to be one of the greatest and Hall of Fame worthy, and be in the Hall of Fame because of it, I have to put Devin there and say that Devin has earned a spot when we talk about draft gems in Chicago Bears history out here. That Bears. Speaking of Devin, Chris Bell from Louisville. Yeah, I think he'll be gone too. Lance Briggs, 3rd round, Arizona, 7-time Pro Bowler, elite in all levels. Maybe not to the exception, not to the level of Urlacher, but quite possibly may have some Hall of Fame recognition at some point in his career, even if he never gets there. Lance was always priority mail, always arrived exactly when we needed him to, never lacked for putting his nose, down there. Yeah. Do I think we can get Chris Bell? I don't believe so. The wide receiver, I like Stribling because I do believe that running that 4-3 is something that Ben values. Because I don't think that we have like the guy like Luther's fast, but I don't think that he is like the proverbial speed guy who takes the top off. So I think that when you can go get a guy like Stribling in the 4th or 5th round, and he'd be such a big body guy that can, be a red zone target with Rome and the tight ends. He is going to have the opportunity to be a 9-route Randy Moss type of guy in your system. I think that those types of things right there give us an instant element that we don't have. And for it to come in such a large package, I believe that, he could be one of those guys you talk about as a draft gem soon. 5th round, 4th round pick. And if he's able to carve a niche out, let's even give a line. Let's say even close to a Jameson Williams. If I can get Jameson Williams talent in the 4th or 5th round, I'm satiated with having a guy like that on my roster at that place. Maybe not in the 1st, but 4th or 5th, you have greatly exceeded what can go on. And I do believe that the coach is able to put everybody in a position. Ganja, I am going to put together a mock draft tonight so that we can stream it tomorrow. I'm going to do a premiere tomorrow evening. So that'll be like, I'm thinking, 7:30, 8 o'clock or something like that. And that is going to allow us to go over the draft that I put together today. Get some feedback on it. See if it rubs anybody the wrong way. See if it satiates the crowd, so on and so forth. And it gives us another opportunity tomorrow to get together and have a little bit of a 30, 40-minute session of completeness, per se, if you will. And when we talk about completeness, this guy's completely the first guy that ever made me eat my words when we come to draft picks. And one of the times when I actually started to back off of being so aggressive about being disappointed or in shock when, in fact, the Bears draft a player that I'm not privy to know or comfortable with. I stood in front of my TV as a 2nd round pick from Tulane University was drafted by the Chicago Bears. And you could not tell me not to be pissed off, because what in the hell are we doing drafting a running back from Toledo? I mean, not from Toledo, from Tulane, from Slidell, Louisiana. And you know what I found out that day? That was the most incorrect assertion or assessment I've ever made about a draft pick, because that guy is one of the most complete running backs ever. Special delivery in all senses of the word, and underestimated on every route that he has run. Anybody can guess who that guy? Matt Forte, DeVille. Matt fucking Forte. I was so annoyed when they drafted Matt Forte, and boy was I not wrong. Matt gave us value beyond anything I could have ever thought about. And when you think about the green wave, Matt came in like the green wave, changed the way in which I perceive the dual threat running back on the whole. And I think that there's another Matt to be had in a draft like this. Maybe not second round for us, but we do understand that our coach and coaching staff might be able to infuse those good eyes into the next level advanced type of scouting that goes on when we talk about people. Maybe we get another guy like this, because Chelsea gonna like this guy right here since he went to Alabama. An injury dropped him to us, dropped him right in our lap. Yeah, he went to Tulane, and I wasn't happy. But this guy was like what I consider in our office is a dead letter. We mark it up, try to send it back to return the sender, but in fact you find out that it was a priority. He was unexpected elite delivery, at least for a brief moment in his career, highlighting that in 2018, none other than Eddie Jackson. Eddie was the man for a stretch in Chicago, and seeing as though he was a third round pick due to injury when he was a first round talent. When you can find guys like Eddie Jackson and Luther Burdens in rounds beyond the first because of character issues and so on like that, I think that those types of things really give you the impetus to find, like Ganja spoke of, a poor man CMC is Matt Forte. Imagine finding the next poor man's Eddie Jackson or somebody in that vein that totally usurps the draft status that they have been given, and they kind of like wow you in ways that you wouldn't have thought of, even though you kind of expected it when they was in college. But you know, for some odd reason they dropped, and you got to pick those guys up. And when you see those guys slip, we're hopeful that our guys gonna be able to do something like that this year, because this guy, again, for injury, and I know a lot of people are dissatisfied at the moment, and they might want to return him to sender, they might want to trade him, but right now he has delivered on every package for me. Jalen Johnson, second round pick out of Utah, injured when we drafted him, which is why he dropped, and he's had some injured seasons as a member of the Bears. But we do have to take into consideration, there was a point in time in this league where, according to statistical rankings, Jalen Johnson was the number one ranked cornerback in the league. And you cannot be ranked number one in the league. And mind you, we didn't find him in the first round. Second round, and everybody I mentioned in this defensive secondary, they are not found in the first round. They are talents that for some reason slipped, or Traydon Stukes, or whomever, and you find those guys. Just like you find this guy right here, another one, Penn State. And if not for the money, he probably would have been signed to keep going with Eddie, and Eddie probably would have had a better career moving forward. Adrian Amos, his running mate, that was bulk mail in some ways. People thought he was a solid pick. Adrian Amos got a second deal in Green Bay and had a pretty substantial career as our box guy and a thumper. And I venture to say that as much as I like Jaquan Brisker, Adrian Amos was the better safety out of Penn State that the Bears drafted recently in terms of making noise and being able to do everything that the position required of him. And while it was, I think, short-lived because they had to re-sign him, I don't think for one moment that we can overlook the tandem that him and Eddie put together, especially in 2018. I think that like the value for those guys, even if only in that year, was through the roof, and it kind of gives you a credence to say that the Bears are pretty good at finding later round secondary guys that are able to make something shake. Not to mention, we have this guy called Al Harris. He got this place called Al Harris Jr. I believe he can make anybody better. Watch out for Zay Frazier this year. Check out my short that I did on Zay today, and realize that a person like Zay could be the person that you don't know you already have on your roster while we look for other things outside. With that being said, Bulk Miller turned out to be gold. David Montgomery. Now, Monty, Knuckles, whatever you want to call him. I know he hated on us when he on his way out the door, and he was talking about he want to get on the winner and all these other types of things that never came to fruition because they didn't win-ish in Detroit. But they had some good games. I would say that we forwarded the mail. We forwarded the mail to Detroit with a guy like David Montgomery. And Monty didn't disappoint. And I think in Houston, he's still going to deliver. I think he'll be the number one option in Houston this year. And while it might be his last glorious year, if you are a fantasy guy, Monty is going to be a guy you can get late round, mid round, I should say, something like that. And I think it's going to offer great value for you. So if you really with it, you know, sometimes that mail get forwarded. What can I say? We're going to be able to find exactly what we need and make sure it still delivers for us. My apologies. Tariq Cohen. Small package, explosive delivery, everything we needed in terms of return man, gadget, everything else. Chubb, I think, is done. Mixon is done. Neither one of them going to be on the roster or on the active roster when the season starts, I don't believe. DeVille. I'm going to double check that, but I don't believe that Chubb. I believe Chubb is already off of the roster. And Mixon out all last year. I don't believe he's coming back. They got another running back that they drafted. So that's right. Next Chubb and the Bears Jr. We could find one of them in a lower round. And those types of things happen because Tariq Cohen, North Carolina A&T, we found him in the 4th round, I believe. Without him tearing a knee up, Tariq was a Pro Bowler, return man, gadget guy, they want to call him that, but Tariq did everything, and injuries took him out. Injuries do a lot of things to hurt us in these games, so we to this day, Tariq tried to make a comeback one time, injured himself in rehab trying to come back. So injuries hurt people. At least Tariq Cohen was not a Garrett Wolf. He was, in fact, what I classify as a draft steal. Small school, unknown, small package, but explosive delivery, if we want to just put it together. And we talk about local deliveries, because we don't want to forget this guy. I know people might not call him a special delivery. Cole Kmet, a 2nd round tight end, local Notre Dame package, Chicago's own, suburb anyway. I think that until this season, Cole Kmet has been undervalued and underappreciated on the whole when it comes to the Chicago Bears. And I say that 2nd round talent, he's gotten a 2nd contract. At one point with Justin was, dare I say, our number 1 weapon for a spell before DJ arrived. And so I say that the value that Cole has now to further make the real one in Colston Loveland an absolute monster, I think that the value that Cole has goes beyond the pale. And to have such a delivery be a local one, that's basically somebody took a package that you wanted. I don't have to pay no shipping, no handling, picked it on up, walked it on up to your house, unboxed it, and I had nothing but a special delivery in that. You said it best when you talked about it, Ganja. He had his best year last year because he was utilized properly. He's more of a blocker, but he is a pass catcher. H, as we elecute right there in the chat. And I appreciate that, because when we talk about letters, this guy was a slot guy out of the wazoo. and he was super fast for a moment. Darnell Mooney, 5th round pick, I believe Darnell was. An overnight delivery that no one ordered, but everybody needed. Y'all ever got a package delivered to the house and you wasn't expecting it, but it gave you damn near everything you thought you wanted and more? It was Darnell Mooney. Mooney had a 1,000-yard receiving season for us. Mooney had the opportunity to go get money in Atlanta and have pretty good seasons before last year was a fall off. And I do believe that despite his limitations, the what we had him for was absolutely wonderful. And I do believe he's gone this year. He won't be in Atlanta. I think he was released in the offseason, free agent right now. But Mooney was a guy that gave us ultimate value when you think about it. 5th round pick. And ultimately, if you can get starter level quality out of a 5th round pick, you have to consider that to be a draft steal. And I know this next guy is going to ruffle feathers on the whole. Let me tell you who is number 12 on my list for all time 20-year Bear bulk rate that played like priority mail because he in fact started and might start again for you this season. 5th round pick, small school, lightning ass tackle, Braxton Jones. I know we saying, how the hell do I have Braxton Jones on this list? I just told you. A 5th round pick, started multiple years, wasn't a rotational guy. Injuries have been an issue. And he is not the creme de la creme when we speak of a person as far as talent goes, but a 5th round tackle that could hold his own and probably will still have the opportunity this year to in fact start again. No matter our feelings about Braxton Jones as an individual player and his playing career, we have to admit that they had a redraft in Braxton's 2nd year in terms of how they do the redraft for talent. Braxton was the top 5 pick in that redraft based on his performance in his rookie year. And while that may not wow people and make you think that they got it right, to be able to find starter level quality in the 5th round in any level is damn good. Braxton makes my list, just like another tackle. 6th round pick, I believe. Well, maybe in the 7th. Charles Leno Jr. Correct me if I'm wrong. Last pick, 1st round service. Ken, I appreciate you. It is almost dinner time for your boy as well, so we're going to make our way through our list because we got a couple more people before we get into our thanks. As I stated, Charles Leno was excellent for a moment. Did wonders to be our left tackle and hold us down. Pitched Jay Cutler off a lot, but did enough for us better than a couple other guys out there. So first class service for a guy like him. Along with Nathan Vasher, 6th round cornerback out of Texas. Small package, small envelope, record-setting return. Still got a record for a return for the Bears. I believe 103 yards. Out of Texas, Nathan was that guy. Broski Bear, what does that have to do with the conversation right now? Was he not, in your estimation, a draft steal or a gem as a 5th round pick that was a starter? I don't know. Let me know. While you let me know, we get to certified mail right now. Vasher was a 4th round pick. Good job. What is this? Certified mail that I think from the University of Florida. Alex Brown. Alex Brown was damn good in the Lovey era. Just like Adewale Ogunleye. I know we didn't draft him. All of the re-rankings are nonsense. You know what I mean? The re-rankings got Caleb not being number 1. But I say that to say that whatever he did in his rookie year was worth swaying the opinion of other persons to even have him jump from the 5th round to the 1st. So nonsense or not, the fact that he played well enough to make people even fancy that idea has to say that we did get somewhat of a deal and be able to find a talent like that in the 5th round. Much like I said, Alex Brown was consistent for years, along with a guy who a rotational guy. I think he went to the Raiders later on for us. Bilal Nichols, 3rd class male to play 1st class football, if you ask me. Bilal was that guy that was a rotational D tackle, got active, got to the quarterback, and got free agent money as a 5th round guy from the Raiders, I believe. And so if you're able to go ahead and get the market to reset itself and give you a couple more dollars than the average 5th round pick would procure once he leaves and goes to the free agency, I would consider you to be a draft gem, if not an outright steal. And right now, what we got going on, because he's still on the route, still delivering for us, and still going to be able to give us some of those good things. Kyler Gordon, 2nd round pick. While I know people don't think that Kyler, he was a rotational guy that was a 5th round pick. If you drafted him to be in the 3rd round to be a starter, I can understand it. But tell me what school Bilal Nichols went to. I don't think most people can. But I can get you. Bilal's a bust. We're gonna go back one day and we get to look at some of these stats, find out exactly what in fact Bilal did. Because Kyler has missed a lot of games in his career, but he's been fortunate enough to be impactful when he plays, and that has given him the opportunity to go ahead, secure a 2nd deal. At one point being the highest paid safety, or nickel corner, I should say, in the league. And speaking of guys who didn't get paid, but got hella acknowledgement and did get extra money in their career, this draft pick from Indiana was a throwaway by many people's estimations. And he also brings to light Jeremy Langford being a bust of a running back. When we talk about bust versus gems, Jordan Howard, I think we mentioned very early in the stream, was overnight shipping, nobody paid for. Jordan got a rookie record, I believe, 1,300 yards rushing, barrel of fun, a bowling ball from Indiana, and I think that every year that we had him on the team, he was more than serviceable, more than sufficient and productive, and I think that gives him very earned and rightful deserved space on here to go along with the last 2 people we got on the list before we wrap up. Underestimated package that delivered overtime classics for us Cleveland Browns fans. I know you remember Mike Brown. Injury sapped Mike Brown's career, but on the whole, the productivity that Mike Brown gave us was unmatched. And to understand that a guy like him was such a game changer when he did play says that while he never reached the heights that was expected of him, he was a damn good draft steal to pick up a guy that was pretty much a game wrecker, and if not for injury, would have been highly regarded, gave much more accolades in my estimation, and would have been able to have the love affair in the city that this guy, which is the last delivery of the day, and I think has to be one of the best late round picks. Because while we talk about a guy that's undrafted, like a Jade All-Day Walker, this guy, 7th round pick out of Rutgers, best running back for your bang for your buck, and in the rookie class last year, if you ask me. Kyle Monangai, give him a little golf clap. Kyle Monangai out of Rutgers last year, 7th round pick. People had doubts, didn't know much about him. From day one, he led the Big Ten in rushing, so I had faith that he was able to tote the rock. That was rewarded by guys like Eric Bieniemy, Ben Johnson, and when he got on the field, he proceeded to make noise and make a name for himself. In that instance, I think that him wrapping up our list for the day really has to be the best. the way we can end the list. If we got any names that we missed, Postal Gang, please drop those names in the chat. Bust or Jim, we'll review it. Keep on moving. I know we talked about Dan Bazine was one of those guys that falls on that bust list. Gabe Karimi's and Chris Williams and sort. But we do want to realize that as we get into the end of the Bear facts here, here's the truth. The Bears are not bad at drafting, but they have been boom or bust. When we've hit some Hall of Fame levels. When we miss, we have set our franchise back for years, and I might even say decades in some ways. Let's hope that the new iteration of front office management and coaching staff, i.e. a Jones type of Joneses, I should say, keeping up with the Joneses of the NFL. We want to hope that a Ben Johnson and a Ryan Poles, Jeff King, and the rest of the crew can continue to do things like accurately scout, find some of those draft picks this year that will allow us to maneuver the board with confidence and find cluster picks, meaning there's not too much of a drop off between either of those players, and some of those players just may fit your system better than others. If you rock with this breakdown, make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you are a member of the Postal Gang in two ways. By being a subscriber, you automatically fall into the first phase and first prerequisite of being a member of the Postal Gang. We do have other ways that you could be a part. Pretty soon, I hope that people are able to gift memberships to others. Anybody who wants to, go right. Feel free to go right ahead. Hit that super chat. Hit the Cash App if we ever get the opportunity. Mailbox Sports 3. Hit that email, mailboxsports3@yahoo.com. Give us some of your show suggestions, any clippable content that we might be able to chop up and put together for us. We're going to get plenty of opportunities to break down what has transpired for the Bears moving forward after the draft next week. But before that, join me tomorrow as we do a small breakdown premiere of what I classify as a mock draft done by yours truly. Sunday, we will finish our last group mock draft up, and we will spend the next few days up until Thursday trying to figure out exactly what the Chicago Bears might do when it comes to our draft. So, with that being said, members get early access to things, exclusive streams, behind the scenes deliveries about how we get the mail going before it's actually delivered. Nevertheless, I appreciate everybody pulling up on me today as we are 1 week away. And we want to give a special thanks to everybody who donated last week. So if we can, give me a moment, people, as I want to give a special thanks. Mr. Walker. Salute to Brother Walker for the Cash App. Well, I should say Super Chat this time. He usually bless him with a Cash App. And the membership. Mr. Blue Facts. Thank you, sir, for becoming a member of the Postal Gang. Juice Drops Entertainment. Thank you for dropping that Super Chat to reference G Honda last year or last week, because it feels like last year when we talk about G Honda. And shout out to none other than the Powerpuff Girls, PPP. Thank you for your Super Chat. Mama, we made it. I appreciate you as well, Ganja. I appreciate everybody pulling up on me. And we will get back to it. And as I have stated in the past, and I will always continue to do so, until next time, and until next delivery, I am your host, Postman 1914. Salute to all you Bear fans. This is Mailbox Sports. Until the next time, on the route, we out.